Good morning, FlossTube. This is Jennifer with Wicker Basket Stitching, and this is my second FlossTube video. I want to give a shout out to a couple of FlossTubers that mentioned me in their videos. I so appreciate it. It's so nice to have fellow stitchers that will give a shout out. It's nice to be able to share all these projects with you, and I'm very excited to do that. So the first one was Chrissy, finally a farm girl. She mentioned me on her video. She messaged me or gave me a comment, and it was so nice to hear from her. Thank you very much, Chrissy. I so appreciate all of the love, and thank you for welcoming me to your FlossTube. I appreciate it. Next one was Stacy from 911 Stitcher. She messaged me. She has so many projects that she's working on. I just love her FlossTube channel. I'm new to watching her, and I really love all of the things that she's doing. She's starting a beginning cross stitch series on her channel, and that is so nice for people who are just starting. She goes through different kinds of flosses and fabrics and patterns and things to get you started, and so that is so nice of her to do a FlossTube video like that. Thank you, Stacy. And the next one was Sylvia from Running with Needles and Scissors. She mentioned me on her FlossTube video. I believe that she was either on a trip to Germany or was just in Germany living. I'm not quite sure, but she has a lot of beautiful samplers that she's working on, and in one of her FlossTube videos she's at a retreat and she does an interview with a male cross stitcher that does some sample stitching, and he does beautiful work, so go check her out. Sylvia with Running with Needles and Scissors. So thank you guys so much for shouting me out. I so appreciate it. Some new FlossTubers that I've been watching is Lori Textilust and Olivia B. They are doing some Blackbird Designs quilt along sale, and they do beautiful work. Olivia has some beautiful project bags that she's making with some applique, and they're just gorgeous. And Lori, the Textilist, has beautiful work. I want to live in her house. I want to come to a retreat at her house. It sounds like she hosts some retreats at her house for her friends, and she has a beautiful place. And I would love to come and visit you someday. So I've been working on a lot this last month. Sorry I haven't gotten back to you sooner. I'm not quite sure how often I will be doing FlossTubes. Hopefully once a month. If I have enough progress, maybe I'll do them more often than that, but I plan on doing at least once a month. So I have some things to show you. I have one finally finished project, and that is Stitchy Stars by Lori Holt. It's all finished. I did have it done in time for the 4th of July. It was a fun stitch. I'm glad that I did it. I love these colors. They're very patriotic, but it has a little pop of teal and pink in there, which I love too, because that will go nicely in my sewing room. And I love all these different quilt blocks. They're just so cute. So that is that one. I also do other crafts. If you don't know, this is a cross stitch or a FlossTube channel about cross stitch, quilting, crafting, and so on. So my son, Keegan, is getting married on the 17th of July, and I made them a sign to put up at their wedding. And you may have seen this on Pinterest. I didn't have a pattern for it. I just kind of went for it. This is the sign, and it says, "A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken." And so at the wedding ceremony, I'm going to undo this braid, and they will braid it together, and this will be up at their wedding. My other son, Taylor, got married last summer, and they're having their reception in August, and I made them one like this as well. And so I have a daughter yet who is not married, but when she finds the right person, I will make them one for their wedding as well. kind of a little family tradition. Mom makes a sign for the wedding. So just a little bit about me. I do live in central Minnesota. I am married. It'll be 20 years this September to my wonderful husband, Ronnie. And we have 3 children, Keegan, Taylor, and Shelby. And the boys are, one is married already, one is getting married in a couple weeks, and I have 2 grandchildren. They are 10 and 9 months. One is 10 months old and one is 9 months old. I have Jacoby. He is my little 10-month-old. He just started crawling and walking around furniture, so that's a lot of fun. And then little Lucy, she is scooting around and, you know, starting to roll. She has been rolling, but now she can roll and army crawl and get around. And so Grandma has to baby-proof her house. So I am working on that. We had a great 4th of July. All of our kids came home with their significant others and the babies. And we had a neighborhood block party that we've been doing for about 9 years, I think it has been. It's just a fun day. We get to spend it outside. Each one of the neighbors hosts at a different time. And then each year we just kind of bop from house to house. And so we were close enough so that the babies could lay down and we could still be outside and take care of them. And it was fun watching them crawl around and get in the grass and play in the little water pool and everything. So it was a very fun time. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July if you celebrated that. And hopefully we can get together with some more family members and neighbors and such now that things are opening up. So that has been very nice to see everybody. I have some whips that I've been working on, and I will show them to you now. The first one that I've been working on is this Jardin Privé pattern. I'm not sure how to say the name of the pattern, so I'm not going to do that, but I have made a little progress on this. I am doing this on 28 count even weave that I coffee tea dyed from Hobby Lobby, and I worked on this little, I finished this block right here, and now I'm working on this one. I have a couple more flowers and things to put in there, and then I can start working on the alphabet part of it. So this has been a really fun stitch. I really like working on this one. I'm using all the DMC colors, and I think they just look beautiful on this fabric. So that is one of my projects that I've been working on. Another one that I've been working on is Sew by Row by Lori Holt. I'm making a little bit more progress on this. I started at the bottom, working my way up the pattern, and I'm working on this row right here of the sewing machines. I am stitching that on white even weave 28 count from Hobby Lobby. I made some progress. I got the little thread spool in and these little things here for the buttons. This has been a really fun stitch too. I really love Lori Holt patterns. I like the It's So Emma patterns. They are in color, which makes it very easy to stitch on. I just really appreciate all the work that Kimberly Jolly does, putting all the work into making the patterns really easy to read, and I appreciate that. So thank you, Kimberly. I am doing this with all of the called for DMC flosses. I just really like all of the colors in Lori Holt's pattern. They're very, very nice to work with. I did want to mention that I got these little magnets. They're just a little magnet tie. I think they actually are for like closing chip bags or bags, twist ties, but they work really nice on your fabric to keep it all rolled up. I got a set, I think there was like 8 sets of these in a package on Amazon. And so those have been really nice to help keep everything nice and tidy. I did start a few new things. And I will start with this bag. I made this bag. This was a cross stitch that I think my mom had given me. I don't know who stitched it. I'm thinking maybe my aunt had stitched it, but I don't think this is the entire pattern. I think there's more to the pattern. I haven't found the pattern. I don't know where to start to look for it. But this bag, I used a couple of the 6-inch blocks from the Lori Holt Farm Girl Vintage book. And it's just a really cute little bag. I put some fabric on the inside, and I did box the corners on this one so it stands up kind of nice. In this bag, I started a freebie pattern that I got from Leela's Studio, and it's a little tomato pincushion pattern. I don't have a picture of the chart. It's just the chart, so I can't show that to you. But this is a nice little pincushion pattern, and I'm just using DMC that I had in my stash. So I'm hoping to get this one done fairly quickly and finish it up as a little pincushion. And then the next project that I started, I bought the Modern Folk Embroidery, the Fruit of Plenty sale. This is the chart. This will take me forever and a day to finish, but I was just really intrigued by all of the stitching on this. And I liked that it was only 2 colors. And so I made a little start on this. The colors that I'm using are DMC. I chose DMC 3777 and DMC 3778. So these are my colors that I'm using. And I am stitching this on a piece of 28 count even weave that I coffee tea dyed from Hobby Lobby, and this is my little start. I just, like I said, I really love just the 2 colors. There's so many beautiful color combinations listed on Instagram in the Modern Folk Embroidery Sale 2021, I believe it is, using the hashtag. Log on to Instagram and look it up. There's so many beautiful color combinations. I just love it. So those are the things that I've been working on. I have done a few other projects in the last couple of weeks, and I have a few things kitted up that I would like to start. I'm just I wanted to show all of you on FlossTube first before I started. So I did make a project bag. This is out of a Moda print. It's quite an old print. I'm not quite sure, but this was just a charm pack that I sewed together and put this on the back. I did make a little accessory pouch to go with it out of the vinyl. Put a little charm on that. And then I have been seeing these little, I think they call them project pouches, and it's to hold your needles and your thread while you're working. And so I did make one of these little things to match this pattern. And the pattern that I am stitching is Oh Joyous Day. I would love to start this. I saw Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch finish this. It is so beautiful. I messaged her and I said, do you think that this would be, you know, a pattern that I could start? I haven't been stitching that long. And she said that, you know, go for it. It might be a little bit challenging. It does have a few specialty stitches, but that doesn't scare me. So I'm gonna start this soon. I did order this pattern on Etsy, and it came from Spun Sugar Designs on their website. It came in like a day. I put my order in, and I think I had it in my mailbox the very next day. So they are very, very fast in shipping. I also ordered some Lugana fabric from the Cross Stitch Nook. This is Milk and Honey. I was looking for a 28 even weave fabric, and I'm hoping that I can stitch easily on this. And then I do have all of the beautiful colors. And so they are DMC. This is all the DMC. I made the little floss tags to go with it. So I have my little project bag all ready to go with my project and my fabric. And I'm very excited to start that. Like I said, I was just waiting to show everybody on FlossTube before I did. The next thing that I would like to start is a little Sarah Sykes sampler, an adaptation of the original antique. This is just a little pin pillow or pin cushion. I love the colors in this. I did get this off of Etsy, and the Etsy site was The Humble Stitcher. Just a very cute little pattern. I'm still collecting the flosses for this. I'm going to look through my stash and see what I have. I think I have most of these colors in my stash. So I am hoping to start this soon as well. I have also a few of other things that I'd like to show you guys. I did get a few things since our last FlossTube, and that was Farm Girl Vintage 2 by Lori Holt. I got this at Joann Fabrics. I love all of the little motifs in here, all of the quilt blocks. And so I did use one of them to make the project bag, and that is this one right here. I used little 6-inch blocks to make this, and I thought it turned out really cute. So that was on that cross stitch bag that my aunt had. I think my aunt is the one that cross stitched that. So I just wanted something, I wanted to use it somehow, so I put it into a bag. A few other things that I've received is the next installment in the Sew by Row Quilt Along. And this is month 4, the checkerboard star row. So I did get that. It has all the fabrics to go in it. So I am hoping, I'm not sure when I'm going to start this. I may collect all of the pieces first and then start the blocks. But I do have a quilting retreat coming with some of my friends in September. We're going to a great place called Pheasant Run Retreat in Hutchinson, Minnesota. We've been going there for about 8 or 9 years, and it's just fun little gathering. We go for about Thursday through Sunday, and I'm very excited to go to that retreat and do some more projects. A few other things that I have acquired recently is I found this, I wanted to do a drum, and I didn't have a pattern for a drum, and there is not a cross stitch store near me. So I went on Etsy, and I went to Not Forgotten Farms, and I got this little drum pattern called Bobbing Along. I wanted something sewing related so that I could display it in my quilting room here. And it's got a cute little bird with a needle, and I would like to start that sometime soon. I haven't collected any of the flosses yet or the fabric, so I need to do that. A few other things that I have acquired is my husband works out of town most days, or most of the time, and he is up in the Duluth area. And so I had a few days off of work, and I went up there around his birthday time, and while he was working, I was out bumming around and looking at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. I did check out a quilt shop there, and I did stop at a Savers, and I found this cross stitch magazine for $1.49. And my parents have a lake place, and they have a lot of loons on their lake, and I saw this pattern, Life is Better at the Lake, and I thought that would be really cute to stitch for them, maybe for a Christmas gift or a birthday. And so I haven't gotten any of the flosses yet or the fabric, but I thought I'm going to keep this in mind when I want to start something for a gift for them. So I thought that was really cute. They had quite a few little cross stitch patterns there, and I paged through each page, and I just got this one. So that was a cute and very expensive pattern. I've also been watching FlossTube, Nicole's needlework. She has been doing some beautiful quilting. I'm just amazed at how fast she is quilting up patterns and all of the vintage sewing machines that she has now acquired. I would love to have a featherweight machine for myself. I've been looking on eBay and Craigslist in my area, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on anything yet. So that will be hopefully a purchase that I make in the near future. But she is doing a beautiful quilt, and she got the pattern off of Fat Quarter Shop. This is a free pattern called Layer Cake Lollies, and she did it in some beautiful floral print fabric with a white background or a cream background, and all of her quilting is just gorgeous. I'm just so impressed with how quickly she is picking up quilting and just going for it. Great job, Nicole. I love your work. It's very beautiful. Another one that I saw was a pattern, American Patchwork and Quilting. Once in a while we'll throw a little video on Instagram, and they did like a patriotic little trunk show, I would say, and there was a pattern on there that was very cute. It was from Click Click Sew. It was a free pattern, and it was called the No Point Stars, and I thought this is a really cute pattern that they showed in patriotic colors, and it was a very faded vintage looking quilt, and I thought that was so cute. So I went out and I searched for the pattern, and it's a free pattern on Click Click Sew. So go out and get that pattern. There's no points to match up here, so if you're off a little bit, they said it was an easy beginner pattern. So hopefully I can collect a bunch of patriotic fabrics in kind of a vintage colorway and sew up that. I would really like to have that sewn by next year. So one of my viewers from my last FlossTube commented on my quilting and things and asked me if I did any wool applique. And I have just started doing some wool applique this last year, I would say before March. And so I did want to share a couple of things that I have of wool applique. This is a pattern from Buttermilk Basin. I did buy this for Easter in hopes to have it completed by then, but obviously I didn't get it done. I do have the applique part done. I just have to attach a back on this, and that was a cute pattern. Here is my progress on this. I just used some assorted wool that I've collected from the quilt shops. My sister-in-law gave me some wool that she had, and I used that, but it's just very, very cute little pattern. And the pieces are not very big, so when I go to the quilt shops, they often will have like little scrap bags of little scraps of wool, and some of the pieces are a little bigger and some of them are smaller pieces, but I like the scrappy look and the different colors and things, and so I just took the scraps and you know, kind of got my colors similar to what was on the pattern. And that was a very fun little stitch to do. I like sitting in the evenings and cross stitching or doing wool applique. However, if you're traveling in a car or something, cross stitching gets a little hard to do, so the wool applique is easier. And I just did just a little blanket stitch with assorted threads, and the threads I just used some assorted DMC floss. when I started cross stitching, well, the whole reason why I started cross stitching was I was down in my daughter's room. She has now moved out, but she had left some things behind, and I was going through the closet and I found a huge plastic tote full of DMC flosses. Now what she used them for, I have no idea, because she did not cross stitch. I'm thinking that she made like friendship bracelets and must have bought a huge assorted pack of floss at one time. And so I went through all the floss and I took out all the DMCs, and there was some other flosses that didn't have tags and things on them. And so what I did is all of the DMCs that had tags, I put on floss cards, and all of the other DMC that she had, or all of the other flosses that didn't have names or numbers on them, I just bobbinated and I put them in a tote like this. And this is what I use for my wool applique. I just keep this little box, and I just pick a color that's very similar to that. I want to keep my DMC with the numbers on them for cross stitch. So that is what I did for that. And I keep this little project in a little project bag that I made a long time ago, just out of some quilting cottons and a vinyl front. This was before I started making all of the other project bags that I use now for cross stitch. And so you can use them, they're multi-purpose. Use them for quilting or use them for cross stitch. They keep your projects all together, which is really nice. A few other things that I wanted to show you today were, I've changed the way that I'm filming so you have a different background. I am still in my sewing room, but I put a quilt that I finished up on the wall. I'm not really sure what the pattern of this is. I did this quite a while ago. But I put this together. It has chenille in this brown area, so that's a textured area. And then I did all this quilting on it myself. I use this as kind of a practice quilting thing, machine quilting. And I did a bunch of different patterns all over in the quilting. And I watched a lot of videos. I can't remember her name right now. The last name is Walters, and she had some sewing videos, quilting at midnight, or midnight quilting, something like that, on YouTube, where she goes through patterns and she does amazing long arm quilting and quilting on your domestic machine. She kind of shows you, there's tutorials that she does on there, and she just does amazing work. So if you saw my last FlossTube, I have a quote on my wall, and her quote is, "Quilting is my therapy." And I thought that was very fitting, because when I am stressed or looking for something to relax me, I pick up needlework, I pick up cross stitch, I sit in my room and quilt. Any little projects that I can keep my hands busy is what I like to do. So I do a lot of it. A few other projects that I've finished, these have been done for quite some time, but I thought I would share just a few as we go along through these floss tubes, and I hope you guys like them. This is a little wall hanging that I made. This is raw edge applique, and this is a pattern by Pine Needles, McKenna Ryan from Pine Needles. And this is a series that she has. There's 4 little wall hangings in the series, and this is the first one, Coffee. And then here's another one called Espresso. I do have the other 2 patterns, but I have not done them yet. I hang them in a little display on my wall. They came as a kit. The series is called Coffee Classics. This is the next pattern, and these are by Pine Needles, McKenna Ryan. Came with all of the fabrics to do it. And I have the other pattern as well. This is the next pattern, which is a cup of coffee with a vase and this is Coffee Classics McKenna Ryan. This also came with the fabrics to do it. And hopefully one day I will have the whole series done, and then I can display it. It doesn't really go with the colors in my kitchen at all, but I like anything homemade, so I will just display it here in my quilting room. The last thing that I purchased, oh, I showed you that already. That was the Lori Holt Sew Along, the Sew by Row. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for all of the subscribers and the views and the likes and the comments. I so appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you in about a month. Thank you.